to the Moms on Maternity YouTube show and podcast. I'm Aimee Cruz, and today we have on Elana Frank. She is the founder and CEO of the Jewish Fertility Foundation. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
How long ago did the Jewish Fertility Foundation start?
Sure, we're in our 7th year now.
7 years, congratulations. Why did you start it?
Sure. So like many of us in this fertility space, it's personal. My 3 kids are born through various fertility treatments. I worked really, really hard to get them. And the long version is that I was in Israel trying to have my first 2 kids, where my husband and I were living at the time. I thought we were going to have a million babies. It just did not go as planned. But my first 2 kids were free of charge because of socialized medicine. And when I moved back to America is when I finally first started talking about what we went through. And I realized we were so lucky because we didn't have to pay the crazy money.
That's so interesting. So Israel includes fertility treatments as part of the healthcare plans.
Socialized medicine.
Wow.
Yep.
What other countries do that?
So I know Canada, European countries. It doesn't mean that they're going to pay for every single one of your children or do it in the time frame that you need. But Israel is also one of the countries that really values family building, and it's just all part of the process.
So you started this foundation when you realized here in America, it's financially difficult to go through fertility treatments. How much does it cost?
So on average, about $20,000 a pop, and it doesn't really guarantee you a baby. So you can do different package deals. Each state has different insurance coverage laws. But honestly, $20,000 a pop, and medicine, you're looking at $5,000 to $6,000. It varies what you're doing, but it is not something that you necessarily expect to be spending thousands of dollars on.
So every single person that goes through a fertility treatment is spending $20,000 for each try.
So it depends what you're doing. That's for in vitro fertilization. You can spend less for the IUI or like the turkey baster method, where, sperm.
Yeah, and some insurance plans do cover it, correct?
Yeah, it's state by state, company by company, and it really, really varies where you live and who you're working for or who your partner is working for.
Okay. And how does someone know it's time to seek fertility treatment?
So they say technically after a year of trying. For me, I was already in my 30s. And honestly, after 3 months of trying, maybe it's my personality, I knew and I felt something wasn't right. And I'm so glad that I sought treatment, honestly, after 3 months, because it took me about a year and a half even to identify what was wrong with my body. So
you were able to identify it though?
Yeah, my tubes are blocked. And like it takes one procedure to learn that. But because I didn't have the education or the insight, and because I thought I was the only person in the world going through this, I wasn't talking about it. So I didn't.
Can I ask a personal question? You don't have to answer this. If your tubes are blocked, do you still have a menstrual cycle? I mean,
yes.
Okay.
Everything is normal except that sperm cannot get into the right spot.
Oh.
So I was not going to get pregnant.
Does the egg go through the tube, right?
So what happens is, well, with IVF, I can tell you, is that they're like literally implanting an embryo. So egg and sperm already formed into the right spot. Beyond, they don't even need the tubes at that point.
Right. That makes sense.
Like my pipes are not working.
Okay, so what? You are in year 7 of this, which is incredible. Lucky number 7. Where's the foundation at? What cities are you in? How do people get involved?
Yeah, so we've created a model that we think is working. And we started in Atlanta, Georgia to build the product, build what we're doing. And now we're in Atlanta. We opened up in Cincinnati in 2019, Birmingham, Alabama, and Tampa, Florida. And what happens is people just like you and me, reach out and say, hey, how do I open up a Jewish Fertility Foundation office in my location? And there's a set of, we're like a franchise. There's a set of things that we're really looking at to understand the need of the community, who is going to be the chair of the exploratory committee on the ground. And we really take it from there. We hope to open up 3 more offices in 2022.
Why would someone open up an office?
Sure. So we do 3 main things. We give out significant funding for fertility treatments. As I said, it's really expensive. We partner with each of the fertility clinics on the ground in that location to also offer a 20% discounted rate. So that's, if you're talking like $20,000, perhaps up to $5,000 of reduced fees. That's a lot of money. And we partner with local interest-free loan associations to cover the costs that we don't pay for. So people can leave our offices with about $20,000. So that's one. Why would somebody?
Where are you getting your grant money from?
Sure. So we get it from individuals. We get it from foundations. We get it from family funds. We're really good at raising money locally from people who understand why this is important.
Would someone who opens a chapter be in charge of fundraising locally then?
No, that's the beauty, is we have like an headquarters infrastructure where we do hire local staff to be the connectors and they run the programs, but our headquarters staff, like myself and a development director, raise the money.
So is it a business or a nonprofit?
We're a nonprofit. We're a nonprofit.
So they would be opening a chapter of the nonprofit.
Exactly.
And are they, how much time would it take up for someone to do this? What's the requirement on their end in terms of, do they need an office space? How many staff, what skill set?
Sure. So the way that it's done is right now I have, fortunately or unfortunately, more locations that I really have to consider, why we're going to go into this community, understanding the fundraising ability on the ground, understanding who my chair is that I work with, how excited and motivated and connected to the community are there. And then also, like, what's the need? Is there anything like us on the ground? Is there anybody else giving out grant money or offering emotional support or educational training, understanding the need? And once we identify all of those areas, we talk with our board, get the support to move to the next step, which is raising initial capital. And their initial capital that is raised essentially covers the first 2 years of service, which includes a part-time program manager.
Which would be the person who's opening the city.
On the ground, yeah.
On the ground, got it. Very cool, very cool. Wow. How many people have you financially supported in 7 years?
So we've given out close to $1 million. We've given out about 85 to 90 grants. We have 60, I have to look at the most recent data. Thankfully, we're having babies all the time. There's one coming right now via C-section, but we've made around 65, 70 babies.
How do you determine who you're gonna subsidize?
Sure. So the grants are for the Jewish community specifically. And our emotional support and education are open to anybody regardless of religious background, but it's based on financial need and it's based on medical viability of potential success. So we want to make sure our hard-earned fundraising dollars are going to people who need it financially and potentially have a chance to be successful.
So what's your relationship with like the JCCs and the synagogues? I mean, I would imagine pretty strong.
We work with everyone. We love partnering with organizations like JCCs. I mean, we're having next month a community event, actually this month, with the Atlanta JCC for families, because now we have an alumni base of families, and we really want to make sure that they stay connected in some capacity to the Jewish community. So we partner with like PJ Library and local JCCs and local camps, and basically we're like introducing them, our JFF families, to the community events.
That's cool. That's so cool.
What on the same? Yeah, I was going to say, token, like organizations like One Table and Honeymoon Israel are huge feeders for us because people will go on these trips to Israel. And we know if they're in a couple, they're gonna, 1 in 6 of them are gonna potentially have a problem conceiving. And so then
You just sort of answered my question. So that is the stat. It's 1 in 6 of, is it the Jewish?
We say that our doctors tell us that the Jewish community, for various reasons, have a higher percentage than the national average, which is 1 in 8.
Of infertility?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got a lot of genetic disorders. Thankfully, that we can detect through organizations like J-Screen, if you've heard of them. So we know that we have potential for a lot of issues, which might require us, if we want to have children, to do certain procedures to eliminate genetic issues. Also, there are a lot of other medical factors that contribute to that. But one of the biggest things that we learned is that as a whole, the Jewish community, like many other cultures, is educated. So our parents are telling us to go to college, go to graduate school, start your job, but biologically, our bodies are not waiting. So we need to still be having kids earlier in order to potentially have more success. So we're waiting sometimes too long to have babies.
Wow, amazing work you're doing. What did you do before this?
I've always actually been in nonprofit.
Okay.
So, but never my own baby. I've done some really great stuff around community organizing, as well as when I was in Israel, I worked at an immigrant youth village.
Does this mean you have 3 kids under 7?
No, my oldest is going to be 10.
Okay.
2-year-old. My 2-year-old took 5 years to have.
Really?
So I received a donated embryo for him. So biologically, he's not related to us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's blonde hair, blue eyes. I have an amazing relationship with his biological family. That's a whole nother crazy.
So that's a whole, but that's still considered, I guess, something the program would.
Yeah. So, yes, I used my own emotional support services while I was going through the process. I tried for many years to adopt. I was leaving my babies at home, going back to Israel, trying to use my residual embryos, my extra embryos. Nothing was working, literally, for 5 years. I almost destroyed my marriage.
Well, you said you have 3 kids though, right?
Yes. So 2 are biologically mine through IVF. And then the third was also, I carried him, but it literally somebody donated their unused embryo.
It's kind of like a surrogate in the opposite way.
I was my own surrogate. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. So you had a lot of failed in vitro.
Yes. Failed IVFs.
How many?
In total, I did about 6 for 2 kids. I made over 20 eggs that fertilized with my husband's sperm into embryos. And we got 2 kids out of that.
I see. Oh, okay. Okay.
If you put it in doesn't mean it's going to work. And then my first 2 kids were both twins.
But you said you tried 6 times and that you tried with all 20 of the embryos. It took 6 times to use them all. How many embryos do they put in at a time?
So I was in Israel, and this was already many years ago. Sometimes they would put in up to 3. Not recommended today. Sometimes they would put in 2. 2 times I had twins. And we lost 1 of each.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine what the emotional support must be. Wow.
It's a lot. And then, also the times that we put it in and you didn't get pregnant and then you had to start all over again. Yeah. It's exhausting. And then you just hop back on, the roller coaster.
So are you finding more people applying to get financial assistance or more people applying to start chapters? Or franchises?
Oh, we get so many people applying for grants each day, and it's not only for the money, it's also just for the mental health services that we provide. But I do about once a week get a call from somebody who's like, how do I do this? How do I open up a chapter in our area? Yeah,
does everybody get looped into the mental and emotional support regardless of financial?
Yeah.
Is that a free service for everyone? Is that 100% acceptance?
100% into the emotional support as long as they're within one of our locations. It's location-based, community-based.
They have to live in the city that you're in.
Yep.
Why is that? Why? I mean, it seems like you could deliver it virtually.
Yeah, you could. It's not our philosophy. We really want to not only build those one-on-one relationships, but also it's what happens during the process and afterwards. You're building real deep connections to people in your location. You can continue to have a relationship.
So you guys meet in person.
During COVID, it's been a little different, obviously. And that's why you can provide these services nationally. We're choosing to still remain, even if it's, on our HIPAA compliant therapy sessions, it's still community-based.
How much of the kind of cultural kind of Jewish customs holidays are celebrated through the groups?
No, because it's we do open it to everybody regardless of religious background.
Oh yeah, that's your side. That's just for the So
yeah, you're not talking about the Jewish component when you're talking about a miscarriage. Maybe you are, maybe it'll come up, but the groups are really focused on the healing process. Some of it does have faith involved. Some of our like our community events are revolving around Jewish holidays and stuff like that. It's definitely for the Jewish community.
So you guys have a meeting space in these cities, like a community room?
So what we really like to do is we're like pop-ups. So we go to where the need is. People, like even in Atlanta, one of our cities, people don't want to drive more than 20 minutes. So we'll do a pop-up therapy or a pop-up support. I don't know, in a coffee shop or, depending where it is, or we'll borrow a synagogue or JCC. We go to where the people are. We don't necessarily feel like you need to be like stuffed into a therapy office.
Well, you're doing some incredible work. I can only imagine how many people have just felt supported through the foundation.
Well, I thank you. I appreciate it.
Any final kind of things people should know about kind of the team, how to get involved?
One of the things that I like speaking about and I'm really passionate about is, and like we were talking about, I'm a mom of 3 little boys and I work my tush off, but I'm also really proud of the culture of the agency that I'm trying to build. And I don't think that we as humans or moms can have it all, but I really, really pride myself and our team on really trying to find that balance. And, we're not an organization that's going to hide the fact if your kid is sick and needs to stay home, like you don't hide that. You acknowledge it, you share it, and we try to support you through the process. At the same time, we're working really hard and getting our work done. So I feel like we've found this culture where we can both be proud of the moms we are and spend time with our kids, but also build a really strong organization. And, we're fulfilling the mission of what we're trying to do.
That. And are most of the people on the team folks who have experience in fertility?
It's half.
Okay.
You don't have to. It does add a nice element if you can connect on that level, but we don't, we're hiring the best person for the job. So you don't have to have that experience.
And the website is it Jewish Fertility Foundation.org. And
same with all of our social media handles are at Jewish Fertility Foundation. We love Instagram, we love Facebook, and whatever, Twitter.
Congratulations and thank you. You're doing incredible work.
Thank you so much.
Talk to you later. Thanks, Elana. Bye.
For more, please visit www.momsofmaternity.com.